Alright, so we want to combine the following like fractions. And like fractions basically just have the same denominator, right? So when we talk about like fractions, we have the same denominator. And again, I want to pay attention to problem structure here. This will help us transition into algebraic expressions. We're going to take these, like in A, we have two fractions, we have two terms, and we want to write them as one fraction. So the first thing we do is create that fraction, that one fraction, with that common denominator. In this case, it's 7. So we have these two terms, and all we're going to do is take the numerators of each term and set them on top of that fraction bar. I know this seems like an extra step, but again, it'll help out when we have algebraic expressions. So this is actually writing and combining these two terms, these two fractions, into one fraction. Now, we can simplify this fraction by adding the numerators. 3 and 11 is 14. That's over 7. And then, of course, we can simplify this fraction by canceling a 7 from the top and bottom. This would be then just 2 for an answer, 2 over 1, which is 2. Okay, again, in B, we have two fractions, and again, the next term starts, the next term starts in front of the subtraction sign, right? It's a term identifier. So these two terms, these two fractions have a common denominator of 3. We're just going to take the numerators, the 2x, and then the negative 1. So the negative sign, just like a factor of negative 1, is attached to that next numerator. 2x minus 1 all over 3. And we cannot combine these terms together. So in the numerator, 2x minus 1 all over 3. So this is our answer. And again, we did combine the two fractions into one fraction, but we needed that initial step, right? We needed to create that one fraction over one denominator to do that. So again, we want to, even when we're adding like terms that are numbers, or like fractions that are numbers, we don't want to skip any steps here. We want to create good problem structure. All right, the last one in C, we have 4 terms here. You can see them starting after the negative signs, and then after, or before the plus sign there. We have 4 terms, so we have a common denominator of 5x. Okay, now each of the numerators are going to come down, so we'd have a 2, then a negative 4x, again taking that negative sign on the numerator. Negative 1 is the next term, and then we have a plus 3x. So again, we created that one big fraction. Now we can simplify the numerator in this. If we do that, we have a couple of x terms. We have a negative 4x and a positive 3x. That's negative x. Then we have a 2 and a negative 1. That's plus 1. And then that would be all over 5x. And again, we cannot simplify this term. When we're done, we cannot cancel the x's because the factor, remember the division sign is a grouping symbol for factors. This last expression actually could be written with parentheses on the top and bottom of that, and we'd have a factor of negative x plus 1. That's one factor, and then we have 5x in the denominator, so those factors cannot cancel. Okay, so this is just thinking about what our answer is, and then just in this case we need to leave it negative x plus 1 all over 5x because there's no common factors to cancel.